Shalom, my friends. I'm Rabbi David, and today I'm going to teach you a principle that will change everything about how you approach your dreams, your goals, and your destiny. It's a principle that separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the wealthy from the poor, the victors from the victims. And that principle is this: heaven opens for those who act, not those who wait. By the end of this video, you will understand why action is the language of faith, why waiting is often the language of fear, and how to position yourself to receive the blessings that God has prepared for you. But before I dive into this teaching, I need to ask you something. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one thing you have been waiting for God to do in your life? Is it a financial breakthrough, a business opportunity, a relationship, a healing? Tell me in the comments, because I'm going to show you why your waiting might be the very thing that is blocking your breakthrough. Now, before we get into this powerful teaching, I need your help with something important. I'm on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers so I can spread this timeless wisdom about wealth, faith, and legacy to even more people. If you believe this wisdom deserves to be shared, if you believe these ancient secrets can transform lives, then please hit that subscribe button right now and join this growing community of modern thinkers and future millionaires. And I have something special for you. I've created the Millionaire Business School, a complete course for just $299, and it's closing soon. In this course, I unveil the full Torah wealth system, the same 3,000-year-old Jewish money laws that built dynasties, protected families, and created unstoppable prosperity. The link is in the comments below. Don't miss this opportunity. All right, let's get into it. Heaven opens for those who act, not those who wait. This is one of the most misunderstood principles in all of Scripture. So many people are sitting around waiting for God to do something, waiting for a miracle, waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for the right time. And while they are waiting, life is passing them by. Opportunities are slipping through their fingers. Blessings are going to someone else. Why? Because God is not looking for waiters. He is looking for actors. He is looking for people who will move in faith, who will take risks, who will step out even when they don't have all the answers. Let me show you this principle in the Torah. In the book of Exodus, the children of Israel are standing at the edge of the Red Sea. Behind them is the Egyptian army, charging towards them with chariots and weapons. In front of them is the sea, deep and impassable. They are trapped. And what do? They cry out to Moses. They complain. They panic. They wait for God to do something. And God says something remarkable to Moses. He says, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to move
forward." Did you catch that? God is saying, stop waiting, start moving. The miracle is not going to happen while you are standing still. The miracle is going to happen when you take action, when you step forward in faith. So Moses lifts up his staff and stretches it over the sea, and the people start walking. They don't wait for the sea to part first. They start walking towards the sea. And as they walk, as they act, as they move in faith, the sea parts. The miracle happens. But it only happens because they acted. This is the principle. Heaven opens for those who act. God is not going to part your Red Sea while you are standing still, complaining and waiting. He is going to part it
when you start moving, when you take the first step, when you act in faith. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about reckless action. I'm not talking about foolish action. I'm not talking about action without prayer, without wisdom, without counsel. I'm talking about faith-filled action. I'm talking about obedient action. I'm talking about action that says, God, I trust you. I don't have all the answers. I don't see the whole path. But I'm going to take the first step. I'm going to move forward. And I trust that you will meet me there. This is the kind of action that heaven responds to. This is the kind of action that opens doors. This is the kind of action that releases miracles. Let me give you another example from the Torah. In the book of Joshua, the Israelites are about to enter the promised land. But there is one problem. The Jordan River is in their way. And it's not just a little stream, it's at flood stage. It's overflowing its banks. It's deep, wide, and dangerous. Humanly speaking, there is no way to cross it. And God gives Joshua an instruction. He says, "Tell the priests to take the Ark of the Covenant and step into the water. Not wait by the water, not pray by the water, not hope the water goes down. Step into the water. Take action." And here's the amazing part. The water doesn't part until the priest's feet touch the water. They have to act first. They have to step into the river. They have to get their feet wet. And the moment they do, the water stops flowing. The river parts. And the entire nation crosses over on dry ground. Again, the principle. Heaven opens for those who act, not those who wait. The miracle is released by action. The breakthrough comes through movement. The blessing flows when you step out in faith. Now, let me tell you why so many people are stuck in waiting mode. It's because they are afraid. They are afraid of failure. They are afraid of making a mistake. They are afraid of looking foolish. They are afraid of losing what they have. And so they wait. They wait for certainty. They wait for security. They wait for a guarantee. But here's the truth. Faith is not about certainty. Faith is about trust. Faith is about stepping out even when you can't see the whole staircase. Faith is about acting even when you don't
Have all the answers. In the book of Proverbs, it says, "The sluggard says, 'There is a lion outside. I shall be killed in the streets.'" This is a picture of someone who is paralyzed by fear. They see obstacles everywhere. They see danger everywhere. They see reasons not to act. And so they stay inside. They stay safe. They stay comfortable. And they stay stuck. But the wise person, the person of faith, sees the same obstacles and says, "Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are risks. But I'm going to act anyway. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to trust God. And I'm going to see what happens." This is the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful. The successful act in spite of fear. The unsuccessful wait until fear goes away. And guess what? Fear never goes away.
You have to act in spite of it. Now, let me tell you the story of how this principle transformed my life. 20 years ago, I had a dream of starting my own business. I was working as an accountant, and I was miserable. I knew God had called me to something more. I knew I was supposed to be an entrepreneur. I knew I was supposed to build something. But I was afraid. I was afraid of leaving the security of my job. I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of what people would think. And so I waited. I waited for the perfect time. I waited for more money. I waited for more experience. I waited for a sign from God. And one day I was reading the story of the Red Sea. And God spoke to me. He said, "David, stop waiting. Start moving. I'm not going to part your Red Sea while you're sitting in your office complaining. I'm going to part it when you step out in faith." And so I did. I quit my job. I started my business. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't have all the answers. But I had faith. And I acted on that faith. I took the first step. I moved forward. And as I did, God started opening doors. Clients started coming. Opportunities started appearing. Favor started showing up. And within a few years, I had a thriving business. Within 10 years, I was a millionaire. And it all started with action. It all started with stepping out in faith. Now, let me give you 3 stories of people who applied this principle and experienced breakthrough. Story number 1, Benjamin. Benjamin had a dream of writing a book. He had been thinking about it for years. He had the idea, he had the message, he had the passion, but he never started. He was waiting for the perfect time, waiting for more knowledge, waiting for inspiration, waiting for someone to give him permission. I taught him this principle. I told him, stop waiting, start writing. Heaven will open when you act. So he did. He started writing. 1 page a day, 1 chapter a week. He didn't wait for inspiration. He didn't wait for the perfect conditions. He just acted. And within 6 months, he had finished his book. Within a year, he had a publishing deal. Today, he is a best-selling
author. He acted, and heaven opened. Story number 2, Leah. Leah had a dream of starting a non-profit to help single mothers. She had the vision. She had the passion. She had the heart. But she was waiting for funding, waiting for a team, waiting for a building, waiting for everything to be perfect before she started. I taught her this principle. I told her, stop waiting, start serving. Heaven will open when you act. So she did. She started with what she had. She started helping 1 single mother, then 2, then 5. She didn't wait for the perfect conditions. She just acted. And as she acted, people started noticing. Donors started giving. Volunteers started showing up. Within 2 years, she had a full-fledged non-profit serving hundreds of single mothers. She acted, and heaven opened.
Story number 3. Isaac. Isaac had a dream of getting out of debt. He had been in debt for years. Credit cards, student loans, car payments. He felt trapped. He felt hopeless. And he was waiting for a windfall, waiting for a raise, waiting for someone to bail him out. I taught him this principle. I told him, stop waiting, start acting. Heaven will open when you move. So he did. He created a budget. He cut his expenses. He started a side hustle. He didn't wait for someone to rescue him. He rescued himself. And as he acted, God started blessing his efforts. His side hustle grew. His income increased. Within 3 years, he was completely debt-free. He acted, and heaven opened. These stories all have one thing in common. They stopped waiting and started acting. And when they acted, heaven responded. Now, let me give you a practical framework to apply this principle to your life. Step 1. Identify what you have been waiting for. What is the dream, the goal, the breakthrough that you have been waiting for God to do? Write it down. Be specific. Be honest. Step 2. Ask yourself, what is one action I can take today? You don't have to have the whole plan. You don't have to see the whole path. You just need to identify one action you can take today. One step you can take. One move you can make. What is it? Step 3. Take that action. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Just do it. Make the phone call. Send the email. Write the first page. Have the conversation. Take the step. Act in faith. Step 4. Watch for God's response. When you act, heaven responds. Doors will open. Opportunities will appear. Favor will show up. Resources will come. But you have to act first. You have to move first. You have to step out first. And then watch what God does. This is the framework. Identify, ask, act, watch. If you do this, you will see breakthrough. I guarantee it. Now, let me address a common objection. Rabbi, what if I act and nothing happens? What if I fail? First of all, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every successful person has failed, many times. The difference is, they didn't let failure stop them. They learned from it, they adjusted, they tried again, and they kept acting. Second, you will never know what God can do through you until you act. You will never know what doors He will open until you step out. You will never know what miracles He has prepared until you move in faith. So, yes, you might fail, but you might also succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And the only way to find out is to act. Here's the truth. Waiting is not safe. Waiting is not wise. Waiting is not faith. Waiting is fear disguised as patience. Real patience is active. Real patience is trusting God while you work. Real patience is believing God while you move. Real patience is expecting God while you act. So stop waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. Stop waiting for more money. You will never have enough. Stop waiting for more knowledge. You will never know everything. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You already have permission from God. He said, "Move forward." So move. Here's my final challenge to you. In the comments below, declare one action you are going to take this week. Not next month, not next year, this week. Declare it publicly. Make a commitment. And as you do, you are taking the first step towards breakthrough. And if this video has revealed to you why heaven opens for those who act, subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who has been waiting too long. Because this is not just information, this is activation. This is a key that unlocks your destiny. Remember, heaven opens for those who act, not those who wait. So, stop waiting. Start acting. Step out in faith. Move forward with courage. And watch as God parts your Red Sea, stops your Jordan River, and opens doors you never imagined possible. Shalom, my friends, and may you be blessed with the courage to act, the faith to move, the wisdom to step out, and the breakthrough that comes from it. Now, let me go deeper into the spiritual dynamics of action versus waiting, because there is something profound happening in the spiritual realm when you act in faith. There is a principle in the Talmud that says, if you take one step towards God, He will take 10 steps towards you. This is the principle of divine partnership. God is not going to do everything for you, but He is also not going to leave you to do everything by yourself. He is looking for partners. He is looking for people who will do their part so that He can do His part. When you act, you are signaling to heaven that you are serious. You are demonstrating your faith. You are showing God that you trust Him. And when God sees that, He responds. He releases resources. He opens doors. He sends people. He creates opportunities. But it all starts with your action. Your action is the key that unlocks heaven's response. Think about it this way. When you pray, you are asking God to do something. But when you act, you are partnering with God to do something. Prayer is important. Prayer is powerful. Prayer is essential. But prayer without action is incomplete. The Torah teaches us this principle clearly. In the book of Proverbs it says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." This means that prayer must be combined with diligent action. Faith must be combined with works. Trust must be combined with movement. You can pray all day long, but if you never act, nothing will change. This is what Abraham did. God told him to leave his country and go to a land that He would show him. Abraham didn't know where he was going. He didn't have a map. He didn't have a GPS. He didn't have all the details. But he acted. He packed up his family, his possessions, and he started walking. And as he walked, God guided him. As he moved, God directed him. As he acted, God blessed him. And he became the father of many nations. But it all started with action. This is what Moses did. God told him to go to Pharaoh and demand the release of the Israelites. Moses was afraid. He made excuses. He said he wasn't eloquent. He said he wasn't qualified. But eventually he acted. He went to Pharaoh. He spoke the words God gave him. And through his action, God performed miracles. Through his action, God delivered a nation. Through his action, God changed history. This is what David did. When he saw Goliath taunting the armies of Israel, everyone else was afraid. Everyone else was waiting for someone else to act. But David didn't wait. He acted. He picked up 5 stones. He ran towards the giant. And through his action, God gave him victory. Through his action, God made him a king. Through his action, God established a dynasty. Do you see the pattern? God is looking for people who will act, not people who will wait for someone else to do it, not people who will make excuses, not people who will play it safe. He is looking for people who will step out in faith, who will take risks, who will move even when they are afraid. Now, let me address another common question. Rabbi, how do I know if I'm acting in faith or acting in presumption? How do I know if I'm being bold or being foolish? Great question. Here's the difference. Faith is acting on what God has told you to do. Presumption is acting on what you want to do without seeking God's will. Faith is obedience. Presumption is independence. Faith says, God, I'm doing this because you told me to. Presumption says, God, bless what I'm doing because I want to do it. So, before you act, make sure you have heard from God. Make sure you have prayed. Make sure you have sought counsel. Make sure you have aligned your actions with God's word and God's will. And then, once you have that confirmation, act boldly. Act courageously. Act without hesitation, because that is faith. Let me also say this. Sometimes the action God is calling you to take is not a big action. Sometimes it's a small action. Sometimes it's a simple action. Sometimes it's just making a phone call. Sometimes it's just sending an email. Sometimes it's just having a conversation. Sometimes it's just writing 1 page. Sometimes it's just giving $1. Don't despise small actions, because small actions done in faith can lead to big results. In the Torah, when the widow came to Elisha with nothing but a jar of oil, he didn't tell her to wait for a miracle. He told her to act. He told her to gather empty jars and start pouring. And as she poured, the oil multiplied. The miracle happened through her action. The breakthrough came through her movement. The provision flowed through her obedience. This is the principle. Heaven opens for those who act.